Hey everybody, Rob Barefoot here, and I'm here with James Hutt, and welcome to the first Mayor's Desk of 2026. Is that right? We finally made it to this next year, huh, James?
That's right. It's 2026.
Yep.
We're recording this on just right after the new year, aren't we?
Yeah, our first day back.
It's done. So if anything happens tomorrow, just know we didn't know about it.
Today we're going to be talking about solos. But first things first, we got to get the actual little stuff out of the way. I forgot to do that last time. This time around, I didn't mix that up because last time we had all that fun with the live stream. So now we're trying the video format. And dude, this is already so much nicer. It's already so much nicer. But first things first, we're going to go ahead and discuss what we had come out during December that I still want people paying attention to. We had our Shadowscar DLC, Secret Agent Santa, which goes through what I still like to call the gift path. But it's a really cute little look into life in the agency in Shadowscar to show how many of the different groups and clans actually celebrate together. And it is secretly a gear drop. It's 100% just secretly a gear drop. Cody knew what he was doing when he made this. But coming up after that, we also had our DLC for Cyberpunk with that tarot Santa art from Dolan Pondsmith. She was killing it with it, which is the 12 Days of Vehiclemas. People went mad over this one. They really did. They really liked it. I was very happy to see how it came out.
I was really happy with how it came out. So,
dude, people were so happy about that new bike.
Read it, play it, love it. It's out there and it's free.
The release of the Sky Queen reshaped something I'm working on. I started to put together. I've not settled on the name, but I think I'm just calling it Ruby of the Sky. I don't know. I may change the name, but it's given me a chance to make 3 adventures in one, all taking place on a Sky Queen.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a choice of the players wanting an assassination gig, a heist, or a rescue mission. But either way, it all takes place on a Sky Queen on New Year's Day above Night City. And whatever happens, the entire thing is going to collapse in around them. They have to not only succeed, but they have to get out. So,
sounds very Hindenburg coded. I love it.
I was going to say the bad end, no matter what, is a fiery crash into the hot zone. So hopefully they don't go that route. Everything goes bad. Everything goes bad if they do it right. Either way, though, there is one last thing we need to touch on, which is a very, very thing that I need to do. It is a very thing. There's the button. That's the hide button. A very thing? Yes, a very thing. But it's, let's see, what's that cover right there? Oh, that cover
I can't see the screen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm not streaming it. The cover of the upcoming Interface Red Volume 5, showing off Solo of Fortune 2045's article, at least a little bit there. You get the shot of a few folks dropping into an active war zone. But yeah, that cover we've gotten to peek before, but we wanted to at least let y'all see again. Yes, we already know we said we were going to get Interface Red Volume 5 out before the new year, but sometimes delays happen. We're going to get it out to you as quickly as we can. It's, let's just say there's a lot to it. I know things have been said.
We'll get into some of that.
Yeah, people have been speculating some things. I'm not going to say if they're right or wrong, but it's pretty funny to see people already guessing.
Stuff today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some fun stuff today.
Stop teasing them so much.
Well, I mean, right now, since we're talking 2045's Solar Fortunes, or anything you want to talk about before we go on to this last little bit, then the questions?
Oof. Are we going to do it after the questions, or is this our shot?
Well, this could be our shot. This will at least keep them satiated and keep them hooked before we go into the questions, because at the very end of the questions, they have something anyway.
All right. Well, then before we get into that, I do want to remind people, hi, James Hutt here. Mm-hmm. I'm a senior designer at Artel Saurian Games, where I make Cyberpunk with the whole team, and, you know, especially with Jay Gray. We are Wonder Twins on that.
Which, by the way, hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay, indeed. But when I'm not doing that, I'm working at James Hutt Games, and I believe you can go to this website and put in your email and join our newsletter. We've got some fun stuff coming out over there, and a lot of fun other games by me that you can play. But the
I'm
first
hitting
step
all
is
the
to go to the
buttons
website,
today, and it's
put
just
your
being
email.
so funny with me right now. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons right now. Forgive me, but I've got your card up for people who want to go and actually support James independently. There's his site. You can get signed up to his mailing list. He's got his own sign, but I've got one too.
Oh, good.
But yeah,
good.
I wanted to make sure that was plugged proper. Last time I forgot. I'm sorry. I am so sorry, James.
So you put in your email, and you'll get a newsletter probably by the end of the month. And we've got a lot of fun stuff to play, and it's no cost for anything. So just some free fun. Go have it. Anyway.
So what do you want to talk about with Soul of Fortune 2045 now? What do you got for us?
So I wanted to reveal some fun stuff we've got coming up. Let me just open up my draft.
If that phone falls over and something leaks, I will
nothing's
across
leaking,
the
don't
country.
worry. So one of the fun things that we're doing is we're adding some weapon attachments. I wanted to talk those weapon attachments today. In addition to providing a new way to play Cyberpunk, which we are going to probably talk about at a later date because it's a bigger change. And this one is, let's talk the attachments. So we have attachments that help move the game in a more military direction. That next level after Street, the Cybermerc level. And a lot of people are looking, they've been playing with the same range tables since the launch of the book. There hasn't really been too much movement in that. And we have barrel attachments coming, basically. And I wanted to reveal some of those.
Yeah, because we already let them have a tiny taste of it. I believe it was Nat's long-barreled handgun. I can't remember the exact name, but they had a tiny taste of that, and that was something from Rusted Chrome. And now, well,
barrel attachments.
Let's see what they got.
Yeah, let's talk about them. So Nat's long barrel pistol. We do have long barrel pistol. That is a range table. However, it's not the same one as Nat's long barrel pistol, because that was just here's what we're thinking about. So now Nat's long barrel pistol has an entirely unique range table called long barrel pistol before playtesting. So the pistol category, you get snub nose and long barrel. Snub nose being shorter range, you sacrificing that long range capability of the pistol for a better short range. We have long barrel pistol, which sacrifices the upfront and personal, that closest range band for better longer range band. But even a long barrel pistol isn't as good as other weapons in their sort of ranges. SMG gets only one. It's subcompact SMG. Because there's a bit of a bleed in submachine gun going into assault rifle territory. And we wanted to keep them apart. There are, however, going to be carbines, which we're going to get into and later, which fulfill that like middle gray role. Subcompact SMGs are more about the up close SMG fighting. The core book SMGs are actually like medium standard range SMGs. They're not like closer up SMGs. A lot of people were expecting to get the like Mac 11s type SMG from the SMG in the core book. That's what subcompact SMG is. Shotguns, they get the short barrel shotgun and the long barrel shotgun. And yes, I understand that the concept of a choke exists. We're calling it long barrel because if you understand what a choke is, I think you can figure out what a long barrel is. But if you don't, well, that's why we're using long barrel. And, maybe a choke is something we think about later. They don't necessarily need to be the same concept. This is about changing the barrel itself, not like threading a choke on it. Anyway, That, and we're still caseless ammunition, and chokes and caseless ammunition have science fiction question mark land in the middle of it. Anyway, assault rifles get a couple. They get the closer up carbine, but the carbine is never as good as an SMG close up. That is maintained as SMG territory, pistol territory, but it's still better, and it's rather nice at being an assault rifle that you're more likely to use in the scenarios that you're more likely to run into in urban environments. So I think people are going to really like that one. If you're going away from urban environments, you're taking more long-range engagements, a battle rifle is the step up from assault rifle in terms of range, longer range preference. Past that, we have an additional one. Assault rifles do kind of get a pat on the head and a pet a little bit, where we have marksman rifles. And marksman rifles, they don't just have bad up front, they sacrifice up front a lot more. Kind of not as bad as sniper rifles do, but still pretty a lot, such that if you're not a solo, a marksman rifle in close range is going to be a liability. Speaking of sniper rifles, we get into two new ranges. They get the scout rifle, which is the less... the scout rifles kind of turn what is a sacrifice in close range into it's just really bad in close range. But you're still... the marksman rifle is still better in that category. We have a problem with potential bleeding, and we've been very specific not to have them bleed into each other. So of course, we have to have the longer range sniper rifle. So we have anti-material rifle, and that's what we're doing there. It's very fun. I think you'll have a very good time.
It's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time for sure. And playtesting was really important on that one, but I think we got it in a good place. Bows, bow crossbow, the bow crossbow category. We have short and long bow. And these ones, I think, are they're going to let you decide what kind of your play style a little bit more is going to speak to which one you'd want, rather than the environment. Because I do imagine that people that are choosing a bow, they're choosing it either for flavor reasons, or they're choosing because they have a very specific character concept, and this lets that character concept be. I'm hoping it's going to get closer to where you see your character doing. Grenade launchers and rocket launchers get one extra one. First one is grenade launchers get a way to use the rocket launcher table. And the second is the existence of a new table called missile launcher, which is a longer range rocket launcher. Anyway, that's sort of the, without, actively running you through the huge table of new numbers, and without over complicating the edition, I think that this is the step toward more tactical combat that the game is it needs if you're going to talk about cybermercs. Anyway,
that's the reason why we're feeding
that's
it.
a big reveal. The big reveal today. We also, by the way, machine guns. Machine gun wise, we have a new machine gun specific auto fire table. So there's SMGs, assault rifles, machine guns, and there's a new shorter range one that is called machine pistol. And that one is is more like what you might see like a Glock switch doing. Anyway, that is that's the idea of there's new range tables coming. Wanted to talk about that. I don't want to reveal too much new stuff. I do want there to still be stuff that you're not you're not privy to yet. But the final bit there is those are not the only attachments coming. There are tons of new attachments also, in addition to those barrel attachments. So look forward to it, and I'm excited to get it in your hands soon.
Yeah, they've got a real good taste of what's coming, not only in terms of the tables themselves, but also the new classifications of weapons and what can be made. So I'm pretty sure people are going to be wondering what is really cooking when it comes to Solo Fortune 2045. We weren't joking when we said Solo Fortune 2045 is pushing the qualifications of what is just an extra article and more just a supplement in of itself. It shows a lot of what we've been up to. And when it comes to, like we've said, we had to scrap Rusted Chrome, but you are seeing it pop up in many places. And with the meat that is in 2045 Solo Fortune, people are going to be happy with this one. I'm looking forward to getting it in people's hands.
This is built of more than just what was left over from Rusted Chrome. This is not our way of just getting that out there.
There's a lot more to this than just what was in Rusted Chrome. They're seeing pieces, but not all of it yet.
Sure, pieces and concepts, but Rusted was scrapped almost in the notes stage. So there isn't a magical book that we're pulling from.
I don't know. People think that it was like almost right there at the final end of it. But I'm trying to make sure people know, like, this is effectively okay. I won't go into it much more. I just want to make sure people know, because I still get questions about Rusted Chrome, and I don't think people really know how far along it truly was. But then again, we don't really share the full development process, so it's not a big deal. Shall we get to the reason why we're here today?
Let's get to the questions, huh?
All right. Now that I actually can see my my buttons down here, I was previously working and not really able to see my buttons. I had them dark and I was like squinting. So I had like a little flicker moment there. Also, I'm noticing a little issue I hopefully can fix later. Your audio keeps wanting to delay back and forth. I'll fix it in post, but if I can't, I can't. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. I've solved a couple problems we were having last time already. So if push comes to shove, we'll see what we can do. So, first question. You ready?
Yep.
All right. The famous one, the one that we have answered before, but this one is going to have a bit of an answer people are going to tilt their heads on. Does fumble recovery prevent jams on poor quality weapons? All you.
Fumble recovery reads, you have been trained to instantly recover from mishaps by taking your time with every shot. For 4 points, you ignore critical failures you roll while attacking. These rolls are still treated as 1, however. All right. So this, the wording here is very specific. The first thing I want to call out is that when we use parentheses, we use them to add a level of understanding to the sentence. They're never like, this is additional rules text. There's, hey, remember that's what this means. So what's happened here is we've gotten that has ended up confusing us. So let's go to the description of a poor quality weapon.
And thank y'all for being patient too whenever he pulls this up. To try and keep the camera going smooth, we're putting it all through certain monitors so people can actually pull this stuff up and read. Well, James can.
So I got it.
Yeah.
Poor quality weapons read, poor quality weapons malfunction whenever you roll a critical failure. And then in parentheses, they say a 1 in your attack check. That parenthesis is to remind you that that's what a critical failure is. Requiring you to use an action to reverse the malfunction before they can be used again. Unjamming your weapon doesn't require a check. Okay, so The fumble recovery, remember when we talked about the fumble recovery? It said you ignore critical failures. If you're ignoring something, you're not rolling it. So you do not jam your weapon on a critical failure. It's as if you did not critically fail. You instead just rolled a 1. Importantly, for weapons that specifically say when you roll a 1, you still rolled a 1. If it says when you roll a critical failure with this weapon, then you ignore it. But as for just a very heavy pistol, a poor quality, very heavy pistol, you're rolling a 1, you've got fumble recovery, the weapon does not jam.
All right. Straightforward.
Anyway.
And I won't muddy those waters.
Here's an additional, why is this balanced? This is balanced because you had to spend 4 points of your roll ability thing. This is kind of what you chose to do today. I do not think it's too. The most of your benefit is coming from like actually being able to still hit your shot, probably, if you're taking this, because you're rolling a 1 and you don't have to roll that d10 again and then subtract. So this is more about ensuring hits. The side benefit here is using poor quality weapons without jamming.
All right. You set for the next one? Or you think they pretty much got it at this point? We wanted to make sure this one was properly answered. I already know this thing is going to be linked off.
I think they've got it. This one is, we put in reminder text in a parenthesis, and that's confused, and that itself has confused in this specific one. I just wanted to set the record straight. I can move on. Let's move on.
Yeah. All right. So next one up. What do you think is the most slept on ability of combat awareness?
Okay. So for me, it is the initiative boosting part of combat awareness. A lot of people don't think about combat in terms of timing. They think about combat in terms of bonuses. And it's the most busted combat awareness ability if you get to go first, and then on the next round, you get to go first as well. So basically, if in doing this, you're able to take out an enemy before they get a second turn in combat, then it's the best ability in the game. Mm-hmm. Because you've effectively changed the balance of the encounter by a significant margin by using this one ability. And if only one solo is in your party, and they've used this and they've been able to eliminate the threat of an enemy on their second turn, on the second round, just through use of this to guarantee initiative, then it's the best ability in the game. And a lot of people don't think that way, because admittedly, that's a more back end enemies that no longer exist. We also become immune to their damage effectively. We also become immune to having to shoot them instead of other. The game is a big combat snowball, which kind of real life, when you start getting shot, is also snowballingly bad. That's why it feels that's why it feels more realistic than a D&D bags of hit points, NPCs type thing. Even if you knock them into death saves, it's still relevant. Quick draw is incredibly powerful. That's why you don't see quick draw as a thing that everyone can do, especially. And that's why initiative boosting stuff is so expensive and sought after. Mm-hmm. It's just like the Wild West, right? It's the fast and the dead.
Yep. Because see, in my opinion, the most slept on ability of combat awareness is something that isn't a specific ability. It's the simple fact that you can constantly change your points mid-combat. So few people will pick and quit. They just leave it as that the whole time. But in my opinion, one of the strengths of solos is shifting those points around to fit the needed situation at any given point. If you know you're about to get cornered, you can ready yourself and, get damage deflection up and going. If you have had to grab an enemy's crappy weapon, switch it over to fumble recovery. You have many outlets you can switch back and forth between, and I feel people kind of forget they can do it. And
I think people forget that because it takes an action once you're in combat.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they want to be using their action on their turn to shoot a guy. But if you have a lower player count and you get your turn more often and you take more, you spend more time in cover, the solo's action to remain in cover and change their strategy is extremely powerful. So it's one of those mindset shift things. Another thing is you are allowed to switch your points at the very beginning of any combat. So you can just spend all of your time in threat detection when you're out of combat, get a huge bonus, and then when you get into combat, switch to your combat choices. Are you picking up that huge car alarm going on outside?
Barely. I can get rid of it.
I'll mute it.
No, you don't need to. I can actually pull it straight from your audio line. You're good. You don't have to worry about it at all.
Magical.
Because, since that we're doing this as a recording instead of a live stream, I now have it set to 2 audio tracks. So this time we're not going to have the noise difference, and we're also not going to have you super quiet while me being super loud. I'll have it all solved.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So should we move on?
We can. Yeah, the one thing I think I'll have trouble with is whenever the audio delay kicks in, but that's something that's just, it's going to have to be. People can hear you and they can hear you clean. So here's one that's fun, and this is from a familiar face too. I know you were looking forward to this question. How liberal should GMs be in giving enemies ranks and combat awareness?
Yeah. So I feel like your enemies that makes sense to have character role abilities. It's not like D&D where it's weird that goblin that we just fought did fighter stuff, and that's a unique thing. In this world, in the world of Cyberpunk, it's totally normal for you to encounter NPCs that have role abilities. In fact, it's weird if there's a particularly good... if there's somebody that's really good with a gun, it's kind of weird that they're not a solo in a way. And solos are the combat awareness, I would say, would be the most popular thing to give your NPCs. Certainly if they're lieutenant or higher, that's an easy choice. You'll see in a lot of my the stat blocks, they'll have role ability ranks. And this is good. It's a good thing. If you meet somebody who's a tech, you can forge a relationship with them and, pay them to do their job. I think you should be very liberal. Once you're not a mook anymore, it's no longer like actually going to slow down the game or anything.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I try to nudge people away from using only combat numbers to define NPCs.
Yeah.
Just in HP, combat number, and that's it. I've seen that very often just for people doing quick, brief notes, but even still, like, flesh them out more, because you got to remember, in Cyberpunk, it's a skill-based system, not a class-based system like D&D. Roles are the flavor that make people unique, but they don't define them. But if you actually have it set so when people are going into a fight, they don't know if they're dealing with, a couple folks who may have, some solo edge to them, it could become a problem. You have to know your enemy. You can't just go in hoping they're all meatbags. They're not gutter punks you're fighting with no training whatsoever. They've lived in the same city you have. When
you're not in a mook encounter, the 3 goon method I see posted around, John buddy came up with. It's great for convention games, but if it's your home game and you're using the 3 goon method all the time, you're missing out on a lot of juice that you can be getting out of the game Especially, you're missing out on the combat maneuver stuff, like grappling, car stuff, the vehicle combat system. You're even kind of, and you're missing on the ability to give them cool items and to give them combat awareness ranks and have them be used in the rest of the system. So I do recommend, unless you're like really pressed for time, to try to find ways to make your combats differentiated, and giving them ranks in combat awareness is a great step toward that. And having used martial arts, it's a core part of the game, I'd call. Should not be a fun special thing. People forget that in 80s movies, everyone knew martial arts. Everybody.
I love dropping MCT and Arasakate on people. It was everyone knew how to throw down.
Exactly.
Like, when it comes to my games now, like I approach it either from 80s action movie or 90s cartoon. You know, that's what I go with in terms of vibe, because it just hits that right feel. I won't go into it. By the way, hey, John, hope you're doing good, dude. Next one. Okay. Can you use initiative reaction in the middle of an active fight to go higher into the queue for the next round of combat?
No.
You cannot. No, you cannot.
Doesn't do that.
Yep. And
you can use it at the beginning of the fight. You can use it at the beginning of the fight before you roll initiative, but then you'll have to switch away from it. And when you switch away from it, you don't go lower in initiative, because initiative is only determined at the beginning of the fight.
And even the awareness ability itself even states at the start of combat.
It's clear. The rules are clear. This ability, by the way, of in the middle of an active fight to go higher in the queue for the next round of combat, that is an ability of the I believe the Davidson Devastin does.
I was about to bring that up.
You also don't want to allow the solo to, magically go Super Saiyan.
Yeah, because that's a 250,000 Eddie upgrade for a reason. It's immensely powerful to jump in initiative. If you want to jump in initiative, kill the person above you in initiative.
Be a net runner.
Them too.
That's also another way to do that. Be a net runner or get in a car.
Yeah, because when you hop in a car,
starting a car pulls you to the top initiative. Jacking in pulls you to top initiative. Anyway.
And it's something to note too, because people still think that every now and then I see it pop up. Oh, excuse me. That a net initiative is separate from main initiative. No, whenever you're in combat, it's one initiative. There's no split initiative for net runners. Keep that in mind.
There's a reason why I don't have people re-roll back into initiative. I just send you to the top. It's because having to bring up what the order everyone's in and how everyone rolled and where you should be, that takes 6 minutes. Don't do that. Just send them to the top. If you ever homebrew this, just send them to the top of initiative.
Save yourself time and save yourself effort. Don't overcomplicate something you don't need to.
Yep.
Next one.
I never make people re-roll initiative anywhere in any of the books for a reason.
So they say hi. Oh, this is the fun one. Who is the most feared and current active solo in Night City or beyond at the time of Cyberpunk Red? Not counting Smasher or Blackhand. I want to say something quick before we get into this. I see it very common that people still attach heavily to Blackhand and Smasher when in 2045 we've made no mention of them being around at all. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Basically, when it comes to 2045, have you noticed how there's not that many headliner characters? We want people to be the characters. We want you to be the ones who stand out. That's why you're not seeing a lot of that. The point is to put attention on you rather than our own stories. We want you to tell yours, and we want to hear yours. So that's something I want to point out before we go in on this, because I have a personal answer for this one, but it also comes down to my own games. But you go first, James.
Feared. Most feared is like feared if he's coming after you. type thing. I would say would be Shaitan is still active since the last IRV4. But Shaitan has moved away from like active merc work and is doing more personal vendetta stuff. But certainly, if you're a person who should feel that fear from Shaitan, that would be the most feared easily. Anyway, he may or may not have done horrible things to the Arasakas very recently in IRV4. Go check that one out.
Cyber Fists of Fury.
That's right.
My answer for this lies actually in Danger God Dossier from a boss that I like to use often, Vanisher. I literally use them as a proxy Batman more than once, and they may be only a rank 6, but in my opinion, the most feared and active solo in Night City is the one that's currently coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
That in my opinion is the most feared one. But if you're looking for like who is the top dog, sometimes the people that are the scariest are the ones that no one has any idea that they're out there. Vanisher is in of himself or herself completely anonymous. Give it a read. Danger God Dossier. Anyway, I won't go into that one too deep.
And this was because you said Black Hand didn't count.
Yeah, Black Hand didn't count. But people, what's the thing? We still have not even touched on if Black Hand's even alive or not. So they're up to guessing. Yet. Next question. Okay, here we go. Oh, and it leads into it. I remember this one. How famous are high-ranked solos intended to be narratively? I.e., obviously, the setting treats Smasher and Black Hand as household names, but is that true? Or is that only in Edgerunner circles, player character facing, or people who follow Solo of Fortune? I assume a solo's reputation is the determinant of how well known they are rather than their actual rank, but some clarification would be helpful. So yes. This is actually in the system in the game. I'll let you go first.
Yeah. Right. So narratively, you get a reputation, and mechanically, you get a reputation for doing actions that are known to be linked to you and your handle, stuff like that. What I'm saying here is that reputation is only within groups that would know that. Nobody who isn't, people don't just know who Atom Smasher is. Atom Smasher is not a household name. Children do not know who Atom Smasher is. Arasaka employees know who Atom Smasher is. People who are active duty military, they know who Atom Smasher is. People who read Soul of Fortune magazine know who Atom Smasher is. And certainly Edgerunner circles know who Atom Smasher is. But if you're working a 9-to-5 job in the cyberpunk world, you would not know who Atom Smasher was. Just like no, we don't know who.
It's like being a baseball player and not knowing who Faker is from League of Legends Pro Gaming. Right.
Yes. Or it's like being how many basically it's all specific. I know it says you're known worldwide, but you're known worldwide by people who would know that type of thing. You're not known by people that just don't care. Most people don't care about most things. You'd be hard pressed. You'd be hard pressed to figure that out. I would say the roles where you're way more where this makes more sense. This way I'm framing this question makes sense is medias.
I was about to say medias, yeah.
Medias and rocker boys. If you're a rank 10 rocker boy, you're probably hit rank 10 reputation a long time ago. You probably hit it around 6 or 7 rank. And that reputation is known by people who would know famous musicians. And we could rattle off a couple of famous musicians all right now. A good good way is to think, if this, who is an equivalent person to this person, do I know their name? You know, we you know, you know who Shakira is. I'll put it that way. You know who fair enough. You get the idea.
Yeah, and it comes down also, like, reputation also does not mean you are the best of the best. For example, Jimi Hendrix, adored. He never had a #1 hit. Yeah, most people don't know that. Jimi Hendrix, they assume Jimi Hendrix was. Yeah, I like Jimi Hendrix. I will fight you, sir.
No, we're not fighting. We're not fighting here, but I don't think the Billboard is a really good musical.
Well, nowadays, definitely not. But back in the day, it was a much more defined way because it was mostly radio and TV play. And people that are icons nowadays were not really huge back in those times. It's a shocker most people actually get caught with.
Because the Billboard was broken.
It was.
Or maybe a little racist.
Just another. We won't go into that one. Don't make me tap into my music business history, sir. We won't go into that mess.
He's quite possibly the most famous black guitarist. Anyway, without
I'm trying to hold back. I will tirade on this one. Oh, I got problems with the Billboard. Don't give me with Billboard in general.
Without too much digression. So it's also possible to reach a really high rank anonymously. If you're a solo, for example, and you're doing a bunch of covert missions, you can get a really high rank in solo, but not be known. People don't really know about it, especially if you're like hiding your face and whatnot. There are downsides to hiding your face, and there are benefits to hiding your face. If nobody knows you did something, you don't get a reputation for it. Things always get out eventually, you know, but if you're actively trying to have it not get out, you can get into a situation where you're like a rank 7 solo and you're rank 2 reputation.
Yeah, and it's I think you touched on this before with handles, right?
Yes.
Because I was about to say something on that, but I wanted you to get your thought out about that because you mentioned something about the handle itself.
Yeah, if you like change your handle and stuff, you're probably going to like run into your reputation does not hit your rank type thing. Additionally, body sculpting is very prevalent in Cyberpunk as a setting. And if you keep like changing your identity a bunch, you can definitely get into a situation where your reputation does not equal your rank ability, your role ability rank.
Yeah, because
anyway,
it comes down to the circles who actually will talk about you, the people who actually care, and those who don't, and what you're actually doing with your name. That's what truly defines how famous you would be. And frankly, there's something that I see a lot in my job, which are, I think there's called content bubbles, content spheres, where there will be people who are immensely famous in their own areas, and you've never heard of them. You have no idea that they're packing, 100,000 viewers a stream just because you're not in that circle. There's people out there who are millionaires, billionaires, who are just doing entertainment, and we all don't know about them just because we're not interested in that. And that's the same thing it is in Night City. Just because you may be famous in the bar doesn't mean if you go to a nightclub across the street of an entirely different music genre, people are going to have no clue who you are and what you play. And most likely will tell you to go fuck yourself. What? It's true.
No, it's right. I do think the Rocker Boys music is kind of conglomerated more in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it is. I'm saying just as an example. I'm not saying as a true Rocker Boy thing, especially when Rocker Boy is. Don't worry, they're going to get their Rocker Boy stuff in later. We'll save that for a bit. Next question.
We'll save that for the Rocker Boy.
Yeah. Don't tease them yet. No, we don't do that yet. I'm kidding. You guys will find out at the end what we're up to. Next question. As Red has a more fluid character design system than previous versions, what archetypes would Solo make most sense for? I think most people think Solo of Fortune, Street Samurai, Bodyguard, or Covert Operative. Are there any others that might not be as obvious? This is going to be a fun one because I love builds. Go, you first.
Yeah, builds are great. I'm kind of, the more I play Cyberpunk, the more anti-build I become. I think builds are cool, and I think your roll ability, letting you be better at combat, is great. But just because you have the solo roll ability, it doesn't even mean people might know you as a solo. People know you'd be good at shooting stuff, but there's a level of, I go outside and I don't go, that person is a level 4 fighter. You know, I would know them by their reputation way before I would know like their direct skill set. Oh, I know. Oh, that's the guy that did this. Oh, she did that. And that's how people kind of see. People see you through the reputation system more than they see your quote unquote build. You know what people did. And for that reason, I think archetypes are not defined by what role ability you take, but the person you are, kind of. Archetypes are more of like what people have for me, it's reputation first. And I think having the skills to earn certain types of reputations could be seen as more of a going forward, because you've got most of the like classical, street samurai, bodyguard, covert operative, soldier of fortune. You've got those. You've covered the ones that people think of. Mm-hmm. But with multi-classing, which a lot of people end up doing, and with just choosing whatever skills you think are gonna be the best for the character you want to play, you can go past those like initial ideas, and there's a whole world behind those initial first ideas. At that, I think for me is more where I want people to go. Anyway, that's a non-answer, but it's what I thought of. Go ahead.
All right. So the first thing I see here, straight up, you're not considering the type of roles solos may have when they're leaders. The masterminds, the instructors, the coaches, the people who are teaching the next generation up and going. So you would have skills like, bureaucracy or even tactics, things like that would basically define someone who's been there. And even though they may not even be that experienced in the field, they can teach. And if they're cornered, they can fight. You also have things like drone hunters, people who use sniper rifles, for example, who are actually very good at trying to take down any kind of unmanned vehicle. You have, they can lean into vehicle tech and cyber tech and stuff like that. And there is many little things you can do beyond the 4 you've given here, which the 4 you've given for examples cover a lot, because when you put covert operative, people are going to initially think spy. I don't count spy as a covert operative. I think covert operative is special ops, SEALs, things like that. I was hoping he'd catch the joke. It totally went over his head, I think, when I said SEAL. I just wanted an excuse to say SEAL. But it's even those types you can split apart into multiple little things. Like when I think bodyguard, I actually immediately think of Ana de Armas in Ballerina. Her first mission in Ballerina is being a bodyguard for a girl.
You just saw the movie.
I just saw the movie. Yeah.
That's why
it took me way too long to watch it, and I regret it. But even that, so tearing it all apart, who would John Wick fit in there? He's not a bodyguard. You left out assassin. And he's not really a covert operative in that. He just knows how to get where he needs to and does the job. So you're leaving out a hitman. I'm sure. There.
And we are answering this question for a wider audience, Oscar. Yeah. I know that you already know all this.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We know who you are, Oscar. You're good. We're answering this for people who are coming into it. Like, there's a reason why I love builds. And that's because, straight up, I said it before, Cyberpunk is a skill-based system. Like, you're asking for quite literally a private investigator who's a solo here. Like, we always push medias as being the private investigators, but imagine a solo who's packing criminology and stuff like that, and who can really get in, break a door down, and fight. I don't like using him as an example, but straight up Punisher vibes, even though that can kind of go into the Solo of Fortune vibe too. It's, if you limit yourself by making very broad descriptions of archetypes, you're only limiting your creativity. Have some fun with what could pop out. Like, I can imagine a solo who fights with their car, you know, just enjoying the aspects of using their vehicle as their weapon. They're only going to be a menace in certain situations, but when they're in those situations, they are specialized. But effectively that. We won't go into it too much more.
I do think this may be eating into the next question.
Yeah, it kind of is, and I was just pulling that up to ask it too. As far as roles go, in earlier editions, we had a set of books that went into certain roles in more detail. In particular, souls had different classifications depending on the type of work they went into, such as specialists, street samurai, corporate solos, etc. With that in mind, I'm wondering how the solo community as a whole interacts with each other, as well as how in-demand solos of each type are for corporations in 2045 compared to 2020. To say fast, we always say it, we cannot speak on future releases.
Yeah,
and we also are not confirming.
The one speech I will do toward that is, those styles of books are they worked in an earlier era of tabletop role-playing games. You need to think about what the market for those books are. Books that only sell to one specific character role and class. Even D&D's books that are in these like Complete Fighter did not sell very well.
There was a book for Fighter?
Yep, there's a book for...
I didn't even know that.
Back in 3.5.
3.5. Okay, 3.5.
Yeah.
You're right.
That was those are the books that now people look back and say that was a little bit of bloat, wasn't it? We are not looking to bloat Cyberpunk Red. We want, like concentrated, good, high quality content, and we want that to be our brand. So we are, just know we'll always look in that direction.
And I wanted to say too, this is not us saying that we will release books for roles. There's always open options for us to, add things in or define. But I mean, if that happens, it would most likely be DLC potentially, like we saw when we expanded stealth and stuff like that.
I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, we're not really going to like try to confirm or deny something in this.
No, we are not doing that here. That is not what we're doing here. Wondering how the solo community as a whole interacts with each other. That's the cool, bar. You go to a solo bar and like the Forlorn Hope. And that is kind of how that goes. I feel like solos are more likely to need to interact with other solos to do big jobs. And that's how that interaction happens. Mostly I see it in my mind's eye in person, in a dark room, under mutual respect. How in demand solos of each type are, highly in demand. The more instability in the world, the more in demand solos are. And in 2045, I think there's more instability than there was in 2020 even. Other than during the heights of like the corporate wars. Those were, actively at world war is probably the 100% solo employment rate. We were likely at the 80% solo employment rate just through instability.
Maybe so 75. Much danger happening. You need the protection.
Right. Yeah. And both sides, people who think solos are going to be hired to attack them, and people who, need You get the idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I accidentally reset the questions. Sorry about that, y'all. 1 second. I'll let you keep talking, James, as I get it back up there to the point.
I believe.
Oh, there it is. I was two more.
Telco.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. Yeah, it's from Telco. When should one put an end to solo shenanigans? I have a martial arts solo on my table, and his turns are really dragging out combat because of wanting to do multiple martial arts resolutions. He's having fun. Okay. He's having some fun with the mixed martial arts. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why you phrased this question to make yourself sound like a villain, Telco. I'm sure you're a great GM on table. And if he's having fun, if they're having fun, then that's the point of the game. But one of the reasons we want to answer this is because inside that question is, how do I help my player get their turn times down? Other than I'm assuming that they like fully know and understand their character. So when you are rolling digitally, if you're trying to like manually digitally set up all of the different martial arts resolutions, I would recommend you just have them have some dice. Because most martial arts resolutions are against the same DV. They should not be taking up a large amount of turn time. They are intentionally against the same DV in order for them not to take up that turn time. And most of them take the action. I do not think this is as bad as you think it is. Would recommend you, I don't know, all of the like discourse about set your players on a set a timer for player turns. I think that is a band-aid on a larger issue, which is like maybe your player doesn't know the rules very well. Or people get analysis paralysis. I think maybe this is best just handled as a, hey guys, we're going to try to keep turn times down today so that we can all play. So let's just actively act like we're playing in a blitz environment. And then if you can get two of your players to be like, yeah, we're going fast, boom, 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 what happens now? Then that energy will sort of invade the spirit of the room, and it will speed up the game.
Infect the room.
It will infect the room. Yes. I will say, martial arts solos should not be taking more time than Netrunners. And I think that the second you start using more complicated mechanics, you should the player themselves should be keeping an eye to their turn time. And if that doesn't solve your problem, and you don't go, oh, I get it, this player takes longer on their turn and that's okay because they're my friend, then you're in a really weird situation that, frankly, we aren't qualified to help you with. What do you think? What do you think, Rob?
So, from what I'm reading with this, first things first, make sure you have an updated copy of Cyberfist of Fury, just in case you're dealing with a player who's playing a solo that is trying to do attack loops and trying to use loopholes to keep their turns going longer and longer to hit multiple people.
Which there was only like one, and it was patched out the day after.
Yeah.
So just make sure they have an updated PDF.
Mm-hmm. Because that's, without more information, that's pretty much what I see. Because solo shenanigans makes it feel like somehow they're getting extra actions a turn that they shouldn't. And if that's dragging out your turns, it makes me think of, I'm pulling into D&D again, but there is a subclass or a feat that says once you kill a target, you can then go attack another target. And people would use that to chain. Bip, 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 bip. And we don't have something like that. And just make sure you have the most recent version of Cyberfist of Fury. We have the most updated version of it currently right now up on Drive-Thru RPG, so you should be able to just straight download it and see. just make sure that they're not taking advantage of an old copy. I'm not saying they're doing it out of being malicious, because let's just face it, if they have an old copy and don't know there's a new copy, that's not their fault or anybody's fault. But yeah, make sure that they're not taking advantage of something that may be a loophole that either they're unaware of that they're doing, or that you're just unaware of that has been, for lack of a better term, patched out.
And if they've decided to play a character that like took 6+ different martial arts styles at the at character creation, that's more of like a, hey, I understand you wanted to do this. Can you just get this shit down? Because if they've self-selected to be that, then the only way to solve it is to go, hey man, turn on the turbo.
Yeah, don't let them be the, hey, yeah, I did all this, but you have to know all my rules for me.
No.
If someone's going with something complex, they need to know their own rules.
Right. By the way, what a fun idea.
It's kind of crazy.
Make sure to only use it when your GM is a new GM.
I don't want to ever think about a new GM put through some of the hyper complicated stuff that can happen. That's a whole thing. All right. So I think this next question is the last one, if I'm right. Is that right?
We did want to answer one martial arts question related to solo.
Mm-hmm. And for people watching this, yes, I know the text is small, but I was trying to not do 2 cards for this one, okay? So we'll read it out in full. So hello.
You read it out in full, and I'll answer it.
Sounds good.
Deal.
I play a solo martial artist, and I have a rules question related to a solo build using multiple martial art styles. Solid. Perfect way to frame this question, and the exact thing I was hoping to see. They use both boxing and Krav Maga. I understand that contact combat, Krav Maga special move, page 80, thank you for doing that, by the way, I love when people do that, can only be benefited from once per turn. Yes. My question is, if the additional attack granted by punch combination, boxing special move, page 77, scores a critical injury, does that critical injury count toward fulfilling the requirement for contact combat? Specifically, does it qualify because the attack originates from resolving a boxing martial arts special move, or does it not qualify because the attack itself is a brawling attack? Thank you for your time. I love questions framed like that.
It does not qualify because the attack itself granted by punch combination is itself a brawling attack. The qualification for contact combat is that it be a martial arts special move from a very specific list of martial arts. We won't get into it. Or it be a martial arts attack from those. This is not a martial arts attack, and this is not itself a martial arts special move. This is a martial arts special move that created an extra attack. And, by the way, it's for a good reason. If punch combination started triggering a bunch of extra stuff, it would create additional problems that are not just this one. Mm-hmm. Punch combination gives you one brawling attack. It is very careful to not do anything more than that.
This is why I was trying to say make sure you've got an updated copy of Cyberfist of Fury for that last question, because I'm like, this can lead into those loops that we talked about.
Yes.
So that's the reason why I want to make sure we had this framed. Like, I'm happy to see, though, for going forward, if y'all frame your questions like this, I love you. This is very well laid out to a T. Good job, Miss Bad Boy Hell. Thank you.
We really appreciate this.
Yeah. And also, thank you all for coming out and, again, trying out this new format we've been doing for Mayor's Desk. We've been having a little bit of fun with it. We didn't expect to switch to recorded only, but this is working out well. I mean, we're able to actually banter a little bit. I'm able to fix a few problems that I can't live on a stream. And we can also do something else leading up into the next episode. Shall we actually say what we're going to do?
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So, a community post is good whenever we're wanting to do things for a live stream, but we have a video right here with a comment section right down below. And if someone simply just said what the next mayor's desk is going to be about, they could just put their questions down below and we have it all in one space where there's discussion and questions. It's strange. It's almost like the next mayor's desk topic is going to be Rocker Boys, and you can ask your questions in the comments below. Yeah. So next mayor's desk, we are just going to be pulling the questions straight from here. So if you have questions, first off, make sure that your comment is listed as a question, because we know there's going to be comments about stuff here too. There's going to be discussion, which we're happy to see, and we may chime in on too. But we will also be keeping an eye down there, and the questions will all be pulled from the comment section. Yeah, Rocker Boys, meaning anything around Rocker Boys themselves, around Charismatic Impact, around who's who, what they're doing, types of Rocker Boys. I'll even say builds for Rocker Boys, even though I know you're getting more anti-build. I love builds.
I'm not anti-build. I'm anti-build based on one word.
All right, anti-archetype. Better phrasing. But yeah, I love questions like that. I can go on for hours about those. But speaking about going on for too long, we are already now at over an hour with this. And I'd say that's a pretty solid mayor's desk. So, going out again. Huh? What? What are you going to say?
I'd say so too. I'd say so too.
Yeah, it's a good time. So.
Damn right.
Remember, you can always go to jameshuttgames.com. I'm plugging it this time for you, instead of you beat me to it with that little, I've got a thing for you. I'm keeping up the Rocker Boy thing, though, here at the end, so people know they can add it down there at the bottom. But, yeah. As for Solo Fortune 2045's release, I know you're all excited. I'm at least going to let you all know this, and this is straight up. When it comes to the release, whenever we have it done, there is a proofing period of about 1 month. We've not gotten to that point yet. If something changes, I'll let you know. But for the print-on-demand version, the physical version, it takes a month to go through all the cycles through DriveThruRPG. So hopefully that gives you all a time frame. As for releases for this first quarter, this is going to be a packed first quarter for Artalsorian Games. Oh, yeah. I am going to be so busy. I'm going to be so busy. Oh, God. We have Shadowscar's core rulebook coming out. We got Fossilized Violence at the start of February. We have, the community content program. We've got Solo Fortune 2045. We've got Night City 2045. And even past all that, Witcher Untold Tales in the future. And no, I'm not going to say the next thing for Shadowscar yet. We got to get the core rulebook out first.
Yeah.
There's things a-cooking. There's a lot of things a-cooking. So we will go ahead and wrap it up here. Take care, everybody. Don't work too hard, and we'll see you all next Mayor's Desk. Take care, guys.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.